Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and coming in all the way from South Africa via London, though. We have Kid Mike in the studios today on the virtual sessions. How you doing today, Kid Mike?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Darren. How you guys doing? Good, thank you.
Yeah, we're doing good out here, all the way based in Seattle, having fun. It's always great to connect with people from all over the world. And having you on the show, I know you're up to a lot of stuff, and we want to dive right into and start the show and start talking to you about what you've been up to, especially your latest release, Boom Beat Heartbox on Dirty Bird. Yeah, how's that been working out for you?
Yeah, no, it's a mouthful, the Boom Beat Heartbox. But yeah, it's been really good. So it's obviously my first release in over a decade of not producing. But yeah, it's was taken up by Claude Von Stroke. It's been taken up by Ardelan. The guys at Dirty Bird have just been phenomenal to work with. And yeah, it's just taken fire. It's just gone absolutely mad on all platforms. So really appreciative.
What was the inspiration behind the making of that track?
You know what, mate? So lockdown, just sitting in the same mundane day in, day out of watching your four walls and being told to stay indoors. I just remember the outdoor festival vibes and like sitting in a small sort of dance floor and just everyone singing and dancing to a big bass line and chanting the same line. And I just came up with a catchy hook and I just wanted to try to replicate that. And I thought, you know what? I haven't made music for 10 years. I took a 10-year hiatus to look after my daughter and to run a family. And what better way to express my frustration with these four walls than get back into music? And it came out in Boom Beat Heartbox.
Yeah, and a lot of people took to, you could say, picking up the pen, creating beats, doing new things. We saw a huge increase in people jumping online and started live streaming, obviously, and podcasting. We were doing our show, our live stream for 10 years before 2020. And it was very interesting to see everybody in the world who had an idea jump online. And it kind of validated what we had been doing for so many years. And people thinking we're this crazy kind of team of people that who wants to watch DJs streaming live online? And I'm like, well, have you ever listened to a radio show before? Have you ever listened to a DJ mix or a BBC One or what's the main one? Oh gosh, the one on BBC. Come on, Darren, you should know this.
One radio, and that's massive.
Yeah, I mean, all those shows that it finally gave a lot of justification to people wanting to jump online, and then also though finding out how hard it is to do online stuff. But it was great for creativity. I think a lot of people got time to do what you did and spend time in there. Now, if you could describe your music in 3 words or less, what would you call it?
Dark fun, want to make people smile and have a good time. But I don't like cheesy sounds. I like dark sounds. I like minimal sounds. The dark fun vibes.
Awesome. Want to cut in with Rich Green right now and give a shout out on the show. My homie live from South Africa, JHB. You know Rich Green?
I know Rich well, bro.
Awesome. So your return to house music. Tell our DJ Sessions fans a little bit about that. What does that statement mean to you? Return to house music.
I don't think it's ever left. I'll be honest with you. The house music's worth you. It was like either or you're not. Gripped me back in my early years, and it's never left. But yeah, so at a priority place, it's always been with me. That I could come back and hone my skills, and the tools that are available to us today are a lot better than what they were, more accessible than what they were back then. So in say 2012 when I stopped, and when you say return, it's like somebody said to me, things are always better the second time around, right? So we come back around the second time, and it's coming back even better and stronger than before.
And what would define success for you as a producer? Would it be a Beatport Top 10 hit, a million downloads on Spotify? What defines success for you as an artist?
So I'll be honest with you, neither of those. So they're all great things. So to been Beatport to sit amongst West End and all those big names on Beatport Tech House charts would be great, but that's not what's good for me. My goal right now, and I've got a lot of work progress with a lot of really good artists at the moment, which we'll delve into later maybe. But my goal is next year's Tomorrowland to have one or two would be amazing. My tracks played on the main stage, and obviously seen that. So if I can get to my tracks played on the main stage at Tomorrowland, this would be one happy camper.
And you'll be working, you mentioned that, and I'm glad there was a good segue there, because we were talking a little bit about this before pre-show, is you're working with a lot of people. Tell us about House of Hustle and some of the collabs you got going on with House of Hustle.
So House of Hustle is in London, small niche house label, really good artists on their books. They've got the likes of Halt 88, Gaz Bass, big shout out to Gaz Bass, and he's watching. They've got not Hypeside, yeah, Gaz Bass, it's off the top of my head, Halt 88, a bunch of big guys on there now. And they're just a lot of Brazilian sort of bass guys are on that label. They're doing really well. And it's really cool. So I've got now a couple of collabs in the works. One, another bird feed artist called Magnum, really good guys. Track Pop is doing massive stuff on bird feed at the moment. So if you can, go to feed, check it out, dirtybird.com. And then I've got something in the works with Gaz Bass at the moment, a bit of a bassy track. And then I've got something about to go live. We're starting something now with Hype Bass, who's one of my favorite Dirty Bird artists of all time. So a lot of exciting collabs happening at the moment.
Nice. What do you think the best business decision of your career has ever been?
My best business decision of my music career was my day-to-day job isn't as exciting as my music career. But my music career, my best music decision was just to pick it up again. So that's it, just pick up and create. So I can imagine music nowadays is like water, right? So you switch on, for example, Deadmau5 busy showing his show, you switch on, you go to Beatport, there's a million new uploads every week, and so it can be kind of daunting for any artist wanting to pick it up again, and we'll go, why should I? I've got all these million artists, I've got all this kit out there, and 12 tracks are the best in these. It's about what you've got, right? It's just about having a good idea in your head and being able to implement it. So know the tools you've got. So I know Ableton really well. I know the few synths that I've got really, really well. So just pick those tools up, just get creative, just make beats. And once you've made something that you're happy with, just get it out, right? It's like just, there is somebody that's going to want to listen to. And yes, you're going to have a bunch. So when I decided to make Boom Beat Hotbox, it was quite intentional. I decided that I wanted to get onto Dirty Bird. I made 3 tracks in the style of Dirty Bird. I sent all 3 in. 2 were not selected, and Boom Beat Hotbox was selected. Just do it. Right? So you said, what's the most important decision you've got in music career? Just do it. Just get out there, create, be creative, and push the boundaries and make music.
And have you ever visited a country, a faraway country where you don't live to or go to very often, and you were surprised people actually knew your music or knew about it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm getting, but during lockdown, we were fortunate enough to spend almost a year out in Mexico, so Central America. We didn't get to go to South America, but I'm getting a lot of love out of South America on my music, like a lot of love out there on my music. When we do releases on labels, we get like heat maps of where your song is doing well. Funny enough, Europe obviously doing well, UK is doing well, South Africa you'd imagine doing well. But yeah, man, like South America is really kicking off, and I didn't have any mates out there until the last 3 months when we put out some music there and started collabs with people. So it was really surprising to see South America pick it up.
And what were some of the, now, do you DJ or are you just a producer as well?
So do you know what? I mean, I've DJed my whole life until I stopped producing. I only produce now. I haven't done any live gigs. If they do call me to the Dirty Bird camp out next year, on Stroke, and Darren, if you guys are listening, then absolutely I'll go and play that. But I don't really gig. I'm more interested in making music and watching people play it and see how they sew those tunes together to do their own set, make people smile. So that's what gets me my creative juice going.
And we're going to take a question from an audience member right here, P. Mitten. And the question is, name 3 major things that create inspiration for you.
3 minutes, okay. I hope you don't think it's cheesy. And I know I'm like a big guy and I'm covered in tattoos and stuff. But I love like a beautiful, like I go hiking on the weekends, on Sundays. I love getting on top of a mountain and like just seeing like being by myself in the wilderness, like that type of thing. I also love seeing people get together. So when I look at a club that's absolutely kicking off, but everybody's smiling, there's no bad vibes. That kind of like togetherness gets me going. And it's just like sees like my family, I would say, but like when I look at my kid and I look at my missus, it drives me, it makes my juices flow.
And do you ever get fed up with making music? And what do you do to get over that and get yourself back in the groove?
So, dude, yes is the answer. I think everybody gets a bit frustrated. I think every artist has its on days and off days, be it DJs, be it producers, be it DJ producers, with the paintbrush, people off days, right? So I'm sure you even have your off days where you're like, oh, the DJ session is getting a bit much today. But you carry on, right? What I do to get over it is sometimes I just put down my mouse, I put down my keyboard, my synthesizers, and I just say, today I'm going to go and listen to music. I'm literally going to spend a day in Headspace with this label and go just download 20 or 30 of this. I'll run it, I'll go to the gym to it, I'll spend the day in the car driving to it, and I'll just get over it. So producing isn't just sitting behind your keyboard and your synthesizers and your DAW. It's literally indulging yourself in what you want to learn. And you'll find out, like, the way you learn, these days that I've been to the gym, mate, and I've been, like, irritated with production out of my mind. Like, I don't want to hear another, like, nothing's working in the studio. You go to the gym, you put on some beats, you put on your headphones, you start pumping iron, and you'll start hearing, like, something from a label you've never even heard of before, but you'll start hearing the way somebody's, like, after the sound or something, and it's like, oh, geez. Suddenly that sparks a fire, and you drop the weights and straight back to the house, into the studio, and you start producing, right? So it's just like, get yourself out, push yourself out your comfort zone, push the envelope, and I promise you there's so much inspiration out there.
And when you're not listening to dance music, what do you listen to?
What I listen to? Classic rock. When I don't listen to dance music, I listen to classic rock, right? So like I like Guns N' Roses, believe it or not. I know like a lot of the dance DJs actually come and listen to that also. But 90% of my music is dance music in my ears, right? So and picking up little nuances of all the styles. So the old classic like Chicago house stuff from the 90s. So Frankie Knuckles, DJ Sneak, Felix the Housecat, all those guys. Just over processed synthesized stuff from today, which I love. I'll pop that on and I'll just sit there and just stay head away with rhythm and the tools we have. So the way those guys put rhythms and sounds together, like it inspires me. So sometimes I'll do that just to get ideas, like rhythmic ideas, or do you know what I mean?
And we're going to take another audience question here from Ephra Taya. I hope I said that right. If you had to pick one of your productions as your most favorite one, which would that be? And is there a thought behind why it is your favorite?
Absolutely. So it's a bit shallow, and my favorite production is the one on Dirty Bird, Boom Beat Hardbox. And the reason is, since Dirty Bird started in the mid-2000s, I've been hell-bent on having one of their art covers on one of my records, right? So, I mean, they've got amazing art. You've seen that art on all their records. And it's just been like, that's my goal of mine. So when I eventually got my art, which is that yellow type thing that's flying through the sky, it's on YouTube, check it out, Kid Mike, Boom Beat Hotbox on Dirty Bird. That's like animation. That was like a highlight for me, right? So that was the success of this year. We've got a success for next year, which is the track to be played at Tomorrowland. But yeah, that just done it for me. So that is my favorite production. However, I do have a work of love that I'm busy with. I haven't released it with anybody yet. It's a very acid-driven track, and it was inspired by the Plum DJs who are using love their music, still listen to it also nowadays for inspiration. So I love the Plump DJs, and I'm busy with the Tracker Days, which is like my labor of love, and I'm busy with that. I'm trying to find a label for it, and I haven't thought to use the right label for it yet.
And another audience question here from Folly Busy. Who has been your biggest influence when it comes to your career as an artist, and why?
If I have to give one name, good question. If I have to give one name, without sounding cheesy or suck up, because that's not what I'm about, I'm as real as it gets, but I would say Claude Stroke. His music is tricky. It's been pushing the edge. It's been like, it's just been fun, right? So even the name Claude Stroke, as you know, it's not a real name, but it's just like a cheeky name, like it's got a bit of an innuendo amongst it. So I just like the way he pushes the boundaries, and he has influenced sound a lot. So, and the way that I do music. And also he runs the label that I aspire to. So a lot of the artists on the label, I love their sounds too. So I'd say as a whole, it's Von Stroke himself.
Awesome. I don't think that's cheesy at all. I mean, that's a perfect. I think that's somebody that is definitely a pioneer moving forward,
Absolutely, yeah.
pushing the industry further and further, and making it happen. Hopefully I'll get him on the show one of these days.
Yeah.
What measures, what do you take, what do you do to actively promote yourself, your releases, and your career? Do you think that solid PR is an important asset for a producer to have?
Yes, absolutely. So like I said earlier, music is in abundance. So there's so much, not too much. Too much music. There's always enough music, but you do need somebody to kind of guide you and push the music in the right direction. So I've been lucky enough to work with guys at Dirty Bird and House Vessel, but it's a lot of people aren't that lucky. But most labels have got an outlet for their music and have got some sort of PR backing to them. So if you can get on a smaller label, do it. Get your music out. I do think it's important. It helps you navigate. It helps you meet people that are in the same label, etc., that you start working with, which is exactly what's happened with me. So yeah, I think it is important.
Awesome. Gonna take another audience question because it was one of my questions I was gonna ask you, and this is from Paleo Nami. I hope I said that right. Question is, name the most inspiring person you've ever met backstage, and tell us why this person has inspired you.
Sorry, mate. Say it again. You break up here for a second. Say it again, David.
I got you. One moment. I'll bring it back in here. Let me see if I can. So we'll bring it back in. Palinomi, name the most inspiring person you've ever met backstage, and tell us why this person has inspired you.
Bro, do you know what? It actually happened when I was really, really young, and I just saw another question pop up in a feed about YouTube and the Rolling Stones, which we'll jump back to now. So funny enough, so we went to go watch the YouTube play live in the UK, and we met with the band backstage, and the guys are just down to earth. Actually, you would think that somebody rocks stadiums like that, they're making the money they're making, they've got the following, they've got the influence that they've got, and they are just really down to earth. And they were born through a necessity that Ireland had at the time, and the music speaks it, right? So meeting those guys really inspired me, and then seeing how down to earth they can be, even though they've got all this going on, still had time to say hello to me, they still had time to have a chat with me and tell me to carry on. So yeah, meeting you two backstage was great.
That kind of. I'm gonna pull that question because I know one you just saw. Give me a second here. I'm gonna pull that one right in now. It's from Kai Biak. Okay, you two and Rolling Stones have been rocking stadiums forever and a day. Would you see yourself? The question is DJing at the age of 70, but would you see yourself producing at the age of 70?
So absolutely, mate. So, I mean, look at Carl Cox, right? His 60th birthday the other day, right? So Michael Cox, yeah, he's cracking on in age, but his beats are as fresh as anybody's. They're the best, right? It's called I don't want to swear on here, but it's called effing Cox, right? So he's a big deal. So yeah, absolutely. As long as the industry and the listeners would like to hear my music, I would make the music, mate.
Mm-hmm. And this is great. I was just going to ask you this question as well, but I'm going to take it from a fan, from Folly Busy. Have you made a lot of friends in the electronic music world, or would you say most are just business contacts?
But so yeah, I mean, I would no, I'd say friends also. So it's not just contacts, right? So people do go to shows and they do go to gigs just to meet people and network, and it's a really important part of what you do as a producer and DJ. But absolutely, you're meeting like-minded people and people with that much interest. Of course, you're going to become mates. I started producing, learning Cubase way back when. A good friend of mine, Jimmy Chronic, James Sells his real name. He's in Bali touring at the moment, and we were figuring out how Cubase works, right? So we just heard all these like crazy sounds from Daft Punk. We're trying to figure out how does Cubase work, and now I'm on Dirty Bird. He's touring Bali, and we've never stopped being mates. And it's all through music. It's all through evening.
And I guess some event questions here. If you could host an event of your own without any limitations, name 5 things you would have at that event.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, that's huge. So I've never hosted an event before, so really good question. One thing I'd have is obviously good music. Something that's really important, which is family. So if we could do like a massive festival, if you think of Dirty Bird Camp Out, it's this massive like camp type of vibe. So if you have something like that where kids could stay, like families could stay, and there was stuff for kids to do in the day, and everyone goes to the tents and everyone parties together and everyone does their thing. Having activities for kids would definitely be something, or having a kid vibe to it would be something for me. Music, family vibe. I would definitely, lasers and lights are massive. I mean, you cannot have, I mean, music's one part of a good gig, right? The rest is lasers, it's dances, and it's a interesting stage to look at. Nobody wants to sort of look at a DJ box anymore. People want to look at these beautiful stages now. And I want to see DJs are jumping on the decks. I saw one the other day, I can't remember who it was, jumped on top of the decks and started dancing, and I was like, oh my shit, bro. Do you know how much your CDJs cost? But yeah, so it's just that level of entertainment, absolutely.
Have you been asked to do anything in virtual reality, or would that be something you'd be interested in doing in the future?
Yeah, absolutely interested in doing a VR set. So we are talking about how you made a certain sound in VR, so like a little tutorial in VR, absolutely. A set in VR, definitely. I'm a big fan of VR. I bought the Oculus Quest when it came out. I bought the 2 when it came out. Massive fan. Again, big tattooed guy, but super geek at heart. Bouncing around my living room, nearly breaking my TV, playing VR. Absolutely, mate. That's my game.
Yeah, we just soft launched 2 VR nightclubs in Altspace, and we're getting ready to grand open them, and then have where people can actually go in and watch like this interview live in VR in our nightclubs.
Oh, wow.
And then we have our mixes. One of those you will be putting your exclusive mix in rotation in those nightclubs, and you can actually go around and do different stuff and kind of think. You know, we see it as the next extension of online or social media or social interaction with brands. From a brand perspective, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be happening there. It's going to be amazing. And speaking about future stuff, have you looked into the magic 3 little letters, NFTs?
Absolutely. So I was a crypto geek with the money on Ethereum, and then NFTs came up. Everybody's off, and my missus is a graphic designer, highly talented graphic designer. She does all my all label covers that I send off for promos as demos, but she's really, really gifted. So I definitely thought about it. I know NFTs. I don't do anything myself. I was part of. I don't know if you know DALL-E, that AI sort of art thing. You just type words in, it creates this art for you, right? It's DALL-E. So I was one of the original testers for DALL-E. It's just gone live now in beta, and we went to do NFTs. So absolutely, I'd love to do NFTs. I know that Dirty Bird has taken our pictures and they've pushed it into the NFT space. I think that they get an NFT and then they get like an open cut of the track or something. So definitely, it's something of the future, and it is growing, by the way. So absolutely, big fan.
Yeah, and I mean, what it means for artists is being able to obviously get some kind of kickback over and over and over again as their music passes along and passes through the world. You know, one of the things we're looking to do is take like interviews like this, and then NFT the interview, but then I would attach your wallet to it as well. So we would put it up as kind of a collector's item and saying, hey, we have a Kid Mike interview. We got 20 of these things. Buy it as a collectible, but every time it passes on, you would get a kick of it. We look at it as the new version. That's how we're going to apply it to our technology. But the way we look at it is, instead of sending you the fruit basket or the bottle of wine for being on the show, it's like, hey, we're sending you NFT. We're attaching your wallet to these dang things, and putting them out there for collectors and fans to buy and hold on to them. And then if they decide to trade them or sell them or whatnot, I think that's kind of a interesting thing, to see how that's going to play out. Question here from
No, so I challenge you, mate. So if you put out an NFT, I'll take a track with little snippets of vocals from this, and I'll put a track together that you can put out on the NFT as a bonus download. But
I love it. I love it. I think that'd be great. We'll definitely talk off camera about that. I think my guy who's doing all my NFT minting and all of that stuff for us is kind of like saying, just wait for the market to come back a little bit more, But here's a question from Neersofrau. I hope I said that right. What is your dream project?
Bro, so either Claude Von Stroke, Carl Cox, any of the big DJs, they've just so Claude Von Stroke's just done the Beats and Freaks remixes, right? So you've got Vanessa, you've got everybody on there doing remixes. Steve Darko, one of my idols. They've all done remixes of the original Beats and Freaks album. So to be invited to do something like that right now for me as a producer, where I am, I think that would be something that would be a highlight for me.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that you mentioned this a little bit earlier about how it's more going to the production of the show rather than focusing on the DJ. This is I remember when I was a kid going to clubs. I'm going to bring up a question from the chat room here from Ogre Tame. I hope I said that right. At clubs and other dance events, should people look at the DJs like they're rock stars, or would it be more fun if the DJs were just slightly more anonymous and just part of the bigger show or event? I remember back at my 2 cents before you answer this here, back when I used to go to clubs, DJs were off in the corner. They were not prominently featured, and you were all about the music and the atmosphere. We didn't have cell phones, so we weren't searching on Facebook or playing Candy Crush. We were in the club to get to the dance floor, to get our drinks and get our groove on. Yeah. Now all eyes are stage, all eyes are attention, all eyes are big show, boom, boom, boom. What is your take on that? Do you think that people should look at the DJs like the rock stars, or do you think they should be maybe off the side and anonymous?
So for now, so I don't think a DJ should be anonymous, and I'll tell you why. It's because DJs are producers nowadays, right? So even James Hype, who's a really super talented DJ right now, he's produced a lot on his recent track. Ferrari's really doing well. But I'm saying, so DJs are producers, and you take Fisher. I mean, Fisher as a producer to me is much larger than Fisher as a DJ. But when I go to see Fisher play, I kind of want to know what's the sounds that are driving this guy's mind, right? So what is going on? And I mean, you see Fisher, but he's like a show to watch on his own, even though he's not DJing, right? So he's just cracking his own, bro. But so I think you go see the guy making music that you love, but then also see how they incorporate all the sounds that they listen and portraying it to the crowd, to show what am I listening to at the moment, what's driving my sound, what is driving me as a DJ / producer. So it's not just the DJ anymore, because the DJs I used to watch in the club too, they can't make music, mate. You know what I mean? Music was made on 8x8 reels and that type of stuff in those days. Now those guys, the guys actually making the music that they're playing in the clubs. So when you play a set like tomorrow, I'll be sending you guys the set that you'll be putting up on the stream. That's got some of my favorite artists in this. Guys that have driven my sound. So you've got all the guys, and you've got Walker Royce, you've got Odilon, you've got Ghostface, you've got Magnum, you've got these guys that drive my sound. And Hypebass and the guys, they drive my sound. They've made me what I am today as a producer. So it's nice to show them and mix it the way I would mix it, the way I see it being played. You know what I mean? So it's kind of the two interlinked nowadays. So the artist is the DJ, and the DJ is the artist.
The line has definitely gotten smaller between DJ and producer now, especially with the advent of technology. I remember back in 2000, it was still kind of a hardware-based world. I mean, there was some software out there you could play. I think I had Fruity Loops 3 on a laptop computer. that I would play around with. And then I got a couple pieces of Roland gear. I'm not a producer by any way, shape, or form, but I did like the physical aspect of being able to touch the knobs, press the buttons, and do make the changes there in like real time and not have to do it by getting a high level computer. I went into video editing and not music production, but I had grown up around music all my life. My brothers were in a band, and I grew up in a studio environment playing with 4-track, 8-track recorders, keyboards, rack mounts, all that kind of rack mounted gear, where it was all you were physically touching to manipulate stuff and tweaking and playing with MIDI at 8 years old. In the mid 80s, was not a lot of kids had access to MIDI gear at 8 years old. So, but always had a fun time playing in the studio. Are you a hardware based or software based producer?
Hardware, dude. So 90% of my stuff is in the box, so I'm very much in the door. However, I do like manipulating everything also. So able to push, and that's a part of my workflow because I can assign the knobs and everything. I've got my keyboard, also that's a part of my workflow. Because I do like and tweaking as we go with my hands, right? So, but the thing is, the amount of sound that I can get out of my Native Instruments 13 complete, there isn't a studio in the world that's got that much kit in it, right? So, you know what I mean? So, it's a hybrid is my answer. And then, while we're touching on that, a good segue would be somebody's just asked, what set of headphones do you trust? I don't know if you saw the question. So, 2 set of headphones. When I produce the Focal, Listen Professionals, this is my go-to. So I trust this Boom Hardbox entire track was mixed and mastered on this. Believe it or not, I didn't use monitors at all for it. And then when DJing, I use the Sennheiser HD25 Plus. So those are the 2. So Focal, Listen Professionals for production, and then the Sennheiser HD25s for DJing.
I'm going to give MSG Hippo a shout out for asking that question right now. MSG Hippo, what brand of headphones do you trust? And is there a specific model you really like? Yeah. Always like it when our guests are asking shows and you can see the chat room going and you're bringing in the questions. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm kind of I know we got a bunch of questions coming in from the chat room right now. But we do have to wrap this up a little bit. Is there anything else that you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know before we let you go?
Guys, not really. I mean, please, if you're not following me already on socials, hit me up on Instagram, kidmike.official, and you'll get all the latest news there. I'm busy with a lot of collabs with people from House of Hustle, people from Dirty Bird Records, guys that I look up to. So when they say let's do a collab, it's like, oh mate, I've looked up to your music all the time. So look out there, hit me there. Just keep the space open and just carry on producing, be creative, push envelopes, and carry on making good music.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Virtual Sessions today. It was a pleasure having you. We will be following up with you as we promise every 6 months. We want to get everyone that comes on the show and stay in touch with them, future forward, and go with it. Are you going to be at ADE this year by any chance?
I may go through, mate. So I'll be back in Europe, so I'll probably pop across. And if I do, I'll definitely come see you at the tent. I know you said you're going to be out there this year. You guys have some big stuff happening there, so I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Absolutely. It'd be great to touch base with you, see you out there again. And again, like I said, we're going to stay in touch with you, follow you with what's going on. I want to hear about more of those collabs. I want to see more of those collabs. I want to hear more of those collabs. Okay. And I'm looking forward to that exclusive guest mix you're going to be sending our way as well for the DJ Sessions.
Tomorrow, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time, guys. I appreciate it. Thank
awesome.
You so much.
That's Kid Mike coming all the way in from South America via London because he'll be going back home. I'm Darren in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington. Don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Meta. Basically, just go to our website, thedjsessions.com. You can find our VR nightclubs there on AltSpace. You can also check us out live streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Google Play, soon to be Apple TV. But again, our website, thedjsessions.com, over 600 news stories a month going out, lots of content, exclusive mixes, live interviews. Jump in the chat room, ask those questions, download our app at thedjsessions.com. Again, Kid Mike, Darren for the virtual sessions. And remember, on the DJ Sessions, the music never stops.